Hello, good morning everyone. Today we will discuss the second module, the testing of DC machines. So why testing is required for a DC machine? Okay. So in previous classes we have studied about losses and efficiency. Okay. So how we will get the losses and efficiency in the DC machine? Whenever you are going to test that particular machine, you will get the losses. From that losses and whatever the input, what is the output, so then you are going to find out the efficiency of the machine. Okay, so efficiency of the machine that can be determined by the testing of DC machine. So in the DC machine there are different types of tests are there. So one is a direct method, another one is indirect method, and third one is called as the regenerative method. There are three different types, different methods are there. So one is a direct method, second one is indirect method, and third one is regenerative method. So what do you mean by direct method? So direct method means directly load is applied. So because the losses, copper losses are depending upon the load current. Whenever you are applying a load on the motor directly, so it draws the current. So and you are find out the losses, so that is through the direct loading. So that is called as direct method. And what is the indirect method? Indirect method means here uh, the load is not applied to the motor shaft directly. So instead of that, this is also called as no load test. So no load test can be performed. So from that so after find outing the no load test and determining the nameplate details, so the nameplate details that is showing full load current and everything. So from that full load current of the machine, so we can calculate what is the half load, what is the full load, what is the quarter load. So what are the efficiency and losses under different condition, half load, full load, everything can be determined by using the full load current specified in the nameplate details of the machine. So that is called as indirect method. Okay, and third one is regenerative method. So it is also called as regenerative test, that is there in the DC machine. So regenerative braking, you have heard about what is regenerative. Regenerative means so again generating, it will be take place from motoring action to the generating action. So that is regenerative method is there. So that can be discussed later. So first is direct method and indirect method. Okay, so direct method is, this method is suitable only for small DC machine. So what happens if you conduct a direct method to the large machine, the losses will be heavier. Okay, so much power loss will be happen during the only for testing purpose. For testing purpose, why you are to make it as a power loss, right? So for that purpose, so this type of test it will be conducting for the small DC machines. So if the loss occurred in small DC machine, so that is a very small things need not happen. Okay, if you conduct the same thing for large motors, so what happens? So 50 HP motor, 100 HP motor. So the motor size is bigger and obviously losses are heavier. So unnecessary wastage of power will be happening in the during direct method without any application you are using, just you are doing for the testing purpose. So much of losses will be occurring. So power loss. So that's why direct method is not suitable for the large DC machines. In direct method, the DC machine is suitable to rated load and the entire output power is wasted. So therefore, the motor is loaded by means of a brake. Okay, brake means the belt drive that is connected to the shaft of the motor. Okay, applied to the water cooled pulleys. Okay, some for that purpose, so much amount of heat will be produced. So due to that, we need some cooling purpose. So that is water is poured on the brake drum to reduce the heat. Okay, so that is the thing in direct method, and efficiency can be calculated by output power by input power. So the main drawback of this method is that the accuracy in determining the mechanical output power of the motor is limited. Accuracy is limited. Alternatively, it is difficult to provide full load for the large capacity motor. So it is difficult to provide for full load for the large capacity. Large capacity motor cannot be performed the direct method. So this is called as direct loading or direct method. Second one is indirect loading or indirect method. So in this method, the motor is not loaded directly, okay, but losses and efficiency at a different load can be estimated. So that is, we will estimate for half load, just estimate for full load, and all those things. So the indirect method will be performing. Out of the different method available for the testing of DC motor, so what are the indirect method? So one is Swinburne's test, okay, and second one is Hopkinson test. So these are the commonly used indirect methods of the test in the DC machine. Okay, in practice, the shunt motor so commonly used for the in practice in the shunt motor, they are conducting Swinburne's test as well as Hopkinson test. So but in case of series motor, the indirect method is not suitable. For series motor, it is always runs at with load. Series motor are performing only with load. Okay, so it cannot be started no load condition. Okay, it cannot be started without load in the no load test. Okay, it can be not be performed for the DC series motor. So we have discussed direct method as well as indirect method. Now it is called as a brake test. So this is the in the direct method. So direct method is called as also called as a brake test method. We'll discuss what is brake test. Okay, are you following all of you in testing of DC machine? There are two types of test: direct, indirect, and third one is regenerative test. Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so brake test. So so in the brake test, so what happens?
Yes, sir.
So in the laboratory, we have performed the brake test, right? In the laboratory, we have conducted the brake test, that is the direct loading method of DC shunt motor. I already sent that video. Have you seen that video, everyone? If you know the thing, we can directly draw the different characteristics and performance and characteristics of the DC shunt motor. You can find out the efficiency and torque, everything. So efficiency and torque and load versus torque, speed characteristics, everything that can be determined through this brake test. Okay, how it can be performed? Suppose this is the motor. So motor shaft. This is the motor shaft. Okay, so around that motor, a brake drum is a round pulley. It is provided. It's called as a brake drum. Okay, that brake drum is located on the belt. So this is the belt. So that belt is connected to the spring balance. So spring balance, so that can be measured the load in terms of kg. Okay, so there are two spring balances are there. So here how many kgs, that is noted down. So 1 kg, 2 kg, 3 kg. So there is a scale is there in the spring balance. Okay, this is connected to the H1 and H2. So here we are, handles are there, we are rotating that. When you are rotating in different directions, so it is going to be tightening. So one is called as a right side, another one is called as a slack side. Okay, so this is the arrangement of brake test. So here a DC shunt motor is connected here. So what is the circuit diagram of DC shunt motor? All of you know DC shunt motor circuit diagram. One is armature is present. Armature is connected to the field. DC shunt motor. So how we are connecting DC shunt motor? It is not directly connected. It is connected through the 3-point starter, that is LFA. We already discussed about the 3-point starters. Okay, so L is connected to the mains, F is connected to the field, and A is connected to the armature. So entire thing we already discussed. That is the 3-point starter, right? So this is the shunt motor. Voltage is applied here. The shunt field is there. Okay. So for a DC motor, a brake test is carried out. So as illustrated in this figure, a belt around the air or water cooled pulley. So this is air cooled pulley or water cooled pulley. Okay. It has its ends are attached to the spring balance. So these ends are, belt ends are attached to the spring balance. So belt is tightening hand wheels. So there are hand wheels are there. So you can observe in the laboratory also. So laboratory video. So that hand wheels can be rotating. So that is called as H1 and H2. By using the help of this, you can adjust the load on the pulley, and therefore on the motor the spring balance are calibrated in kgs, that is the kilogram, right? So the motor output can be calculated. How we can find out the motor output? Motor output is equal to, so omega into S1 minus S2 into R into 9.81 watts. So what is this? So R is the radius of the pulley in meter. Okay, omega is called as 2 pi n is the motor speed in radian per second, and S1 is the spring balance reading on tight side. So this is the tight side, this is the slack side in terms of kg, and S2 is the spring balance reading on the slack side in kg. So it means that is S1 minus S2. Suppose S1 measuring 10, okay, S2 measuring 7. So what is the net kg loaded? 10 minus 7, that is equal to 3 kg. Okay, so like that we need to calculate. Your total load is 3 kg. Okay, so like that we need to calculate on the scale of the S1 and S2 spring balance. Okay. So in this method the motor is put on the direct load. So motor is directly connected to the load through the brake drum. Okay, by means of belt and pulley arrangement, by adjusting the tension of the belt. So tension of the belt, how you are adjusting? Through the hand wheel. The load is adjusted to give the various values of current. Okay, so how much we need to put the load on the motor? So that is important. So we need to know what is the full load current of the motor. So full load current of the motor is suppose 12 ampere. So we need to apply up to 12 ampere, cannot go beyond the 12 ampere. Okay, so this is the rated full load current of the motor. For example, rated full load current of the motor for that particular HP 3 HP or something motor. Okay, so the 12 ampere is the maximum current. Should not go more than 12 ampere. We have to observe the ammeter reading while loading on the motor. So in the DC shunt motor, you cannot run the DC shunt motor with full load directly. Okay, initially it will run at no load condition, then it is goes on, you put the load. Okay, so that is the method of doing the test here. The load is adjusted to give the various values of current. The load is finally adjusted to give the full load current. So that is full load current. So full load current, it is depending upon the rating of the capacity. You have to observe in the nameplate detail. Okay, the power developed get wasted against the friction, because friction will be happening because it is a rotating machine. Friction between the belt and shaft. Okay, so we have friction between belt and shaft. So because of this, so some mechanical loss, friction and windage losses will be occurring. So due to the braking action of the belt, the test is called as a brake test. Here braking action of the belt, it will be happening. So due to this test is called as brake test. Okay, so let V is the voltage applied in volts. So here V is the voltage applied in volts, and I is the line current in ampere. So I is the line current in ampere. So therefore total input is equal to V into I watts. That is called as power in. Power in is equal to V into I in watts. And the efficiency, percentage efficiency of the motor, that is given by neta, percentage neta m is equal to P out by Pn. Pn is calculated by Vi watts, right? And P out, that can be, this is the motor output, that is calculated through the formula omega S1, omega into S1 minus S2 into R into 9.81. Okay, so calculate this. P out is equal to omega S1 minus S2 into R into 9.81 divided by P in is V into I watts. So if you want percentage, so multiplied by 100. Okay, so this is the procedure for doing the brake test in the DC shunt motor. All of you got this? So what happened here? Adjusting the load in step by step. Okay, you cannot put direct load, a full load. So it will increasing in step till the full load current is reaching, and number of readings can be obtained. So the speed can be measured using the tachometer. Speed is also get measured. Speed is, whenever the load is increases, speed is also going to be decreases, right? Thus all the motor characteristics can be plotted. Okay, what are the motor characteristics are there here? Speed versus torque characteristics, bhp versus torque characteristics. Okay, efficiency. So all characteristics of DC shunt motor, that has to be drawn here. What are the characteristics of DC shunt motor? Okay, so I versus that is electrical characteristics and mechanical characteristics, right? Torque versus IA characteristics, and speed versus IA characteristics, and speed versus torque characteristics. These are the three different characteristics of DC shunt motor that has to be plotted in the graph. Okay, this is about the experiment. And for a series motor, the brake should be sufficiently tight before the motor is switched on supply. So this is for shunt motor. Initially belt is very loose in case of shunt motor, but in case of series motor, the belt drive is to be tightened up to 75% minimum, 50 to 75%. Okay, so it is very much tight in case of series motor. Otherwise, so because of this, so the dangerous speed that can be avoided by the series motor. Okay, because it is a high starting torque and speed is there, so therefore should not start without load. So this is very important concept. Always series motor, it will start with some load. Okay, so sufficiently tight, the brake should be sufficiently tight. It means braking is tight means the load is applied very much. Okay, so this is the one point, important point in the series motor. Okay, and disadvantages are this method. So due to friction, heat is generated and hence there is a large dissipation of energy, and some type of cooling arrangement is necessary. So at that time what we have to do, in the pulley, the brake drum will pour some water. Okay, 1 liter or 2 liters of water we have to pour depending upon the motor size and all these things. Okay, so that whatever the belt is heated, so that can be cooled by means of water cooling, or in some cases uh, they have provided some draft fans. Okay, for the cooling purpose, convenient only for small machine. So this method is only convenient for small range of machine. You cannot perform this test on the high capacity machine, and power developed get wasted, hence method is expensive. So what happened, for testing purpose so much power is going to be wasted, so hence power is wasted means automatically it will be expensive. Okay, so these are the disadvantages of the this particular method. Okay, all of you got this?
Yes, sir.
Ahmad Ali.
Yes, sir.
What about the series motor? Series motor is connected, it will be started with the load or without load?
Series motor, sir.
Hmm. Just I have explained, right?
Yes, sir.
Hmm. In series motor, how you are applying the load, in step by step, or
Step by step, sir. We are applying step by step, sir.
that is series motor, not shunt motor.
Shunt
In
motor,
series
sir.
motor, before starting, load is there or not? In series motor.
Series motor.
Chaitanya Raj Singh.
In shunt motor, we apply, sir. Step by step.
Hmm.
Yes, sir.
Chaitanya Raj Singh.
Yes, sir.
Hmm. How you are conducting the brake test in series motor? Gautam. Kiran.
Sir, by direct loading method.
Yes, tell me. In direct loading method of series motor, before starting you are applying load or not? How you can start the DC series motor? Hmm? Don't know? Mallu Bagalkot.
Yes, sir.
Hmm. Answer to my question.
Direct load.
What direct load? Before starting of DC series motor, load is present or not? Yes or no? Very simple question.
Yes, sir. Load present.
Yes, yes,
Load is present. Okay. Naveeniam, what are the disadvantages of brake test? What are the disadvantages of brake test? Sai Divya.
Yes, sir.
What are the disadvantages of brake test?
Don't know, sir.
All of you are watching and listening the class or not? Hmm? Just I have explained, right? Shantamma,
Yes, sir.
what are
Sir,
the disadvantages of this method, brake test?
this method is using only for small machines, sir.
Okay,
And power developed get wasted, sir. Here it is
okay,
expensive, sir. And
expensive. Very
here cooling arrangements are necessary, sir.
good. Because heat will be produced. Okay, rotational
Yes,
arms. Very good. So what
yes.
about remaining people? Some of the people are simply are coming to the class without listening. Hmm? 50% of students are not listening the class itself. So what is the use of coming to the class? Very simple question I am asking. Hmm? Okay. So take one problem on this. Okay, all of you take the book, calculator, everything. Take this problem. A full load brake test on a small DC shunt motor gave the following data. Spring balance reading is equal to 25 kg and 9 kg. Outside pulley diameter is 19.5 centimeter. Belt thickness 0.5 centimeter. Motor speed is 1500 rpm. Voltage applied is 230 volt. Line current is 12.5 ampere. Calculate the shaft torque, shaft power, and the motor efficiency at rated load. Okay, this is the question. In the question is not told about it is a what test, right? So either it is direct test or indirect test, simple test, regenerative test, not given. You have to observe the question. What are the things that is used in this? Okay, so he has given belt thickness. Belt thickness means and spring balance is there. So automatically you have to assume this is the brake test, right? By knowing the what are the components are used in the question, okay, related to the which type of motor, shunt motor or series motor, okay. So from this which test is conducted? So definitely here brake test is conducted, right? So you have to use the formulas of brake test to calculate the shaft power, motor efficiency, and rated load. So note down these things. So find out radius of the pulley. So what is the radius of the pulley? So diameter is given, total diameter. It is in terms of centimeter is given. Outside pulley diameter is 19.5 centimeter. We want radius. Okay, 19.5 divided by 2. Diameter divided by 2. This will give the radius. right? Okay. Next, what is the belt radius? What is 19.5? 19.5 by 2, 9.75 centimeter. So convert centimeter into meter. So converting centimeter into meter, so multiplied by 10 raised to minus 2 divided by 100. Right? Similarly, belt radius, so belt thickness, around this belt thickness, so the diameter of the belt is known. Belt thickness, that is given 0.5 centimeter. 0.5 centimeter. So diameter is 0.5 centimeter of the belt. So divided by 2, it will give the belt radius. This is also in centimeter is there, converted into meter, 10 raised to minus 2. So what is the total answer? Total radius of the pulley is 0.1 meter. And calculate the shaft torque. Shaft torque is S1 minus S2 into R into 9.81, right? That is given here. Shaft torque is S1 minus S2 into R into 9.81. Okay, if you multiply for this with omega, this will give the motor output. Omega into T, this will give the motor output. So therefore, shaft torque is equal to, so that is given S1 and S2. S1 is 25 kg and S2 is 9 kg. That is given in the problem. So 25 minus 9, 16 kg, and 0.1 meter is the radius of the brake drum, total pulley, multiplied by 9.81. So this is in terms of Newton meter. Torque is in terms of Newton meter. 15.7 Newton meter. All of you got this answer? 15.7 Newton meter.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now calculate shaft power. Shaft power means multiply answer with omega. Omega is equal to 2 pi n by 60. Omega is equal to 2 pi n by 60. So what is n? N is 1500. That is given here. 1500 RPM. Substitute here. Multiplied by 15.7. So we will get motor output is equal to 2466.47 watt. Got this value?
Yes, sir.
So calculate motor input. So what is motor input? V into I. So that is also given. Applied voltage is 230. Total line current is given 12.5. 230 into 12.5. Do it. 230 into 12.5. How much?
2875.
2875 watts. Right? 2875 watt. So find out motor efficiency now. Output by input. Output power is there 2466.47. Input power is 2875 watt. Output power by input power is equal to motor efficiency neta m. Percentage neta m is equal to multiplied by 100. So calculate it. How much it is?
85.794.
Okay, 85.79%. So 2466 output by input is 2875. So this is the answer. Motor efficiency at rated load. Motor efficiency at rated load. Shaft power and F, that is to be calculated. So this is the problem. Okay. Similar type of problem we can give afterwards. And next test is Swinburne's test. So that will be discussed in the next class. Okay, we will revise today's class. One is direct method, indirect method in testing, and regenerative testing method. Direct method is direct applying load through the brake drum, and second one is indirect method is the, so that will be discussed in tomorrow. That is Swinburne's test and Hopkinson test are commonly used for indirect method for shunt motor. Okay, and indirect method is not performed for series motor because it will start with load. In indirect method it is no load test. So these tests are no load test. And we have discussed brake test in detail, and we have studied how to calculate the output power and efficiency using brake test, and what are the disadvantages of this method is also discussed, right? So these are the things we have learned from today's class, right? So any doubt regarding today's class? Anybody having? Anybody having doubts? No? Okay, shall we stop? Okay, we'll discuss in next class. Thank you.